This is the press statement following the meeting of the Eastern Cape Provincial Executive Council of the provincial government. The meeting was held yesterday on 26 August via the virtual meeting platforms. The Executive Council of the Eastern Cape Provincial Government held its monthly meeting virtually on 26 August 2020 to discuss programs of government. Below are the decisions of the meeting of the Executive Council of the Eastern Cape Provincial Government. The first point that was discussed was the quarterly performance report of the provincial government departments and entities. The overall performance of the provincial government departments and entities was negatively impacted by the COVID-19 virus pandemic. Departments and entities in the economic development cluster achieved 13 of their set 26 targets, which represents a 50% performance rate. Departments in the governance and administration cluster achieved 11 of their set 29 targets, representing 38% performance rate, while departments in the social transformation cluster achieved 35 of their set 93 targets, representing 38% performance rate. EXCO resolved that all departments must review their performance to ensure a balanced focus on COVID efforts to mitigate and contain the spread of the virus, as well as performance on service delivery related matters. These would be programs that departments have set to develop or to implement throughout the province during this financial year. A business recovery and continuity approach be put in place at all levels of government to address this problem by all government institutions. The EXCO also resolved that all departments must submit performance improvement plans or catch-up plans to the Office of the Premier by 31 August. This is to look at what departments are going to do to improve performance. The Office of the Premier will continuously monitor targets that have been deferred to outer quarters by government institutions. All reports will include special referencing of performance per district and metro to link performance monitoring to impact assessment in line with the district development model that was launched by President in our province last year. The Cabinet Committee report in terms of the financial position was as follows. Provincial government departments have spent 25 billion, over 25 billion of their 85 billion annual budget by the end of July 2020. This represents 30.4% of the expenditure. To address low expenditure levels linked to the performance rate mentioned above, which was negatively impacted by COVID-19 pandemic, departments have developed their expenditure recovery plans and submitted them to the Office of the Premier, which together with Provincial Treasury is scrutinizing to ensure proper monitoring of implementation. EXCO has resolved that now that the lockdown levels are being eased, departments must improve the expenditure and delivery of projects to meet the needs of the people of the province. In terms of infrastructure performance, the performance of the delivery of infrastructure was also affected by the national lockdown, and departments are now putting together infrastructure recovery plans outlining how they will speed up infrastructure rollout throughout the province. The provincial government has appointed KUHA to lead packaging of its infrastructure projects to be used to source funding from the national government's infrastructure funding program. This will help the provincial government submit bankable infrastructure projects for funding so that strategic infrastructure projects of the province are funded to yield economic injection to create jobs, grow the provincial economy in pursuit of the 5% economic growth by 2030, increase investments into the province to 27.1% of the GDP by 2030. In relation to conflict of interest, there are 565 government employees that are doing business with government, and these have their businesses registered on the government central supplier database, abbreviated as CSD. The business transactions or procurement that these employees had with government was to the value of 4.4 million in the quarter 4 of the previous financial year, 2019-2020, 46.9 million in the first quarter of 2020 and 2021 financial year. Only the Office of the Premier, Provincial Treasury and Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism, Safety and Liaison departments do not have employees registered or with companies registered on the CSD that are doing business with the state. EXCO resolved that heads of departments must take necessary remedial action against potentially conflicted and those employees that are doing business with the state, especially because officials doing business with the state is illegal, and there are regulations that are outlawing that. So heads of departments have to ensure that consequences are implemented against those officials that are breaching the regulations. So they're going to take action against officials of departments that are responsible for sourcing quotations, bid evaluation committees, supply chain management officials. And the reason is because in the process of procurement, officials have a responsibility to check that people that are submitting quotes or that are being procured are not registered on the CSD. When they are registered, they need to pull them out of the process. So now that we're seeing these procurement transactions that were effected, it means someone did not do that due diligence that is required. So that is why HODs are directed by EXCO to take action against those officials. So they will report action that they have taken to the Director General in the Office of the Premier, that is the Director General of the Eastern Cape Provincial Government. With regards to governance and administration, the issues of legal compliance being one point, EXCO has resolved to broaden its focus beyond medical legal to include fighting high levels of corruption and hijacking of state properties by criminal elements throughout the province. In relation to medical legal, government continues to improve its administration services and clinical services to provide best health care to the people of our province to minimize probability of litigation. Update on office accommodation. While the procurement of strategic partners for the development of the Bishop Precinct is underway, EXCO has approved a plan for acquisition of strategic properties in Bishop to expand our property portfolio for the broader strategy of bringing government institutions within reach for better coordination of implementation of government programs. In relation to Public Service Month, which is celebrated in September every year, EXCO resolved to use the provincial awards for public servants to honor frontline staff for their role in fighting COVID-19 pandemic, with a special focus on outstanding workers and teams from various government institutions, your departments, your entities, and of the provincial government that have done sterling work during this time. The awards for public servants were approved to motivate public servants to continue implementing Batupili principles at all times to improve the quality and provision of services to the people of our province. The awards will be given to the best performing public servants in their teams as individuals in all government departments within the provincial administration. Economic development. The EXCO approved the Economic Recovery Plan, which focuses on using infrastructure development to enable economic growth, with a focus on sectors that account for a growing share of production and employment through development, revitalization of provincial industrial platforms, including strengthening the process of accessing national infrastructure funding opportunities. EXCO approved the plan to address the situation of low economic activity, which moves from economic relief to economic recovery. The move is premised on knowledge generation, dialogues and action, acknowledging that infrastructure is the bedrock of our economic recovery. Government will continue to provide support to companies from the Eastern Cape province that are facing hardship caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Part of the plan is to use public finance with ongoing mobilization, leveraging private capital and provision of fiscal and economic stimulus through the various provincial instruments, using digital transformation by leveraging economic growth opportunities associated with the digital economy through science, technology, and innovation. The EXCO has approved an intervention to support spaza and general trading dealers operating in townships and rural villages of the Eastern Cape province. This is done to ensure that these business entities are given a kickstart to benefit from the market opportunities that are available in the economy by addressing barriers to entry and other challenges faced by the owners of these spaza shops and general traders. Government is focusing on businesses that are owned by the people of the province that are here, so that we invest in the businesses that they run, help them to grow their business entities. An incentive, government will provide competitive support for spaza shops and small independent retailers in rural communities and townships by facilitating establishment of distribution centers to be located in peri and non-urban areas to service these entities and wholesalers. An incentive program providing seed finance for innovative commercial models of private business will be used to effectively incorporate spaza shops into buyer groups and larger wholesale operations, generate key information on individual spaza shop operators, development of consumer and business information to assist in the improvement of business operations. Information that is going to help all these businesses to improve their performance. With regards to liquefied natural gas, EXCO has resolved to increase its push for the realization of the gas hub in Kucha following the meeting with the Minister of the Department of Minerals, Resources and Energy. The province is now engaging Transnet to play its part in this massive infrastructure project to make it happen. The provincial government has long adopted a development of gas as one of the strategic economic elements, because gas is important for our economy and the province wants transformation in that. But part of the strategy is to ensure that we provide government resources to make it possible. We understand that there are elements or there are people in some government institutions that want to shift the program from the Eastern Cape to Richards Bay, and the Eastern Cape provincial government is using its resources to ensure that that investment happens in Kucha, doesn't go from the Eastern Cape, because the Eastern Cape has developed a lot of infrastructure and other required systems to have that investment in the province. So the provincial government will continue engaging Transnet now that we've sought the agreement we've received the agreement from the minister to have the infrastructure investment around liquefied natural gas to happen in the province. This investment will help the people of the province tremendously. It will help us to increase a number of jobs, because there will be job opportunities, there will be investment opportunities for investors. There will be also business opportunities for local companies. So it's important that it remains in the province. The Executive Council has also approved the Provincial Tourism Sector Strategy, which comes with a new brand positioning statement yours to explore, and a new destination logo aligned to the brand as a corporate identity. We also have a new corporate logo for the Eastern Cape Parks and Tourism Agency. The strategy will be implemented by the ACPTA, working with everyone in the sector and with the support of the provincial government, also involving municipalities to attract high number of both international and domestic tourists into the province. Government wants also to attract sporting events, conferences to come to the province, because these properties have got a good investment that they bring in. When you host sporting clubs, tournaments, conferences, they inject a lot of money into your economy, and that helps to create opportunities for local businesses, your shuttles, your hotels, your B&Bs, your catering businesses, and all these, especially the tour guides. So government is going all out to put in resources, including financial, intellectual resources, working with companies in the sector to attract these numbers of tourists. The main reason why we are changing, or we have now a new destination logo, is because we need to be distinctive when we go out to all these platforms, especially the global platforms, where we show them where we come from, where we are as the Eastern Cape, as compared to before, where when colleagues would give their business cards, there would be a confusion whether are you in London, as in are you in Oxford in London, UK, and we had to explain that. So we think the new positioning now makes us to be distinct in terms of who we are, where we come from, and the warmth of our province is communicated through the years to explore a brand positioning statement. And government will continue to work with role players in the sector to ensure its transformation. And government is going to use this to bring all these properties that I talked about to contribute to this important sector, because tourism is one of the key sectors in our economic growth and development programs. With regards to social transformation, EXCO has resolved to accept the rearranged schools calendar, the staggering approach for reopening of schools, measures put in place by the Department of Education to better contain and mitigate the virus in schools in order to keep learners, teachers, and other staff members that are in all our schools safe during this time. EXCO approved the curriculum and psychosocial support program of the department, which includes a plan to respond to mental health needs of learners and personnel that are facing or that are battling COVID-19 in our school community. This plan includes a telehealth app called Sikuncedenjani, which is being used for psychosocial support. And we also have resources like self-care bags, weekly mental health webinars for staff. Government has also appointed 131 social worker interns placed at the district offices and schools. Appointed 900 learner support agents to support learners with barriers, challenges that they are facing in the environment given the situation that we are in. And we have appointed 27 registered psychologists which are working with the Department of Education to deal with issues of psychosocial support to the school community. The focus is not just only on learners, it's on teachers, other support staff in the schools. So government is looking at supporting everyone in our school system. A plan by the Department of Education, the Provincial Department of Education, that is, to administer examinations and assessments within the COVID-19 pandemic regulations, such as social distancing and other safety measures, was approved by the Executive Council. As EXCO welcomed the support and preparatory work being put in place by the Provincial Department to prepare more than 137,000 learners who will be writing the merged National Senior Certificate Examination for the current year. which are scheduled to start from 5 to 15 December 2020. The department will also ensure that social distancing and other preventative measures to prevent COVID-19 infections will be adhered to at all the 24 marking centers in the province. This will also be a priority in the examination rooms. Everyone needs to be safe. With regards to the provincial anti-poverty strategy, the provincial integrated anti-poverty strategy, EXCO received and I approved a report on the review of the provincial integrated anti-poverty strategy. The new strategy details how government will drive poverty eradication in line with the provincial development plan. The new strategy brings together all sectors of the province to work together in eradicating poverty and hunger in the province in line with the PDP targets of reducing poverty from 36.7% to 7.7% by 2030. The new strategy provides municipalities, provincial departments, public entities, civil society organizations, and other social partners, including the private sector, with a platform to integrate planning, budgeting, and implementation of programs to eradicate poverty. All of us have got a role to play in eradicating poverty in our province. The new strategy is pillared on investment in human development, improved healthcare, creation of economic opportunities, ensuring income security, basic services and assets, social inclusion, social capital, and safer communities in our province. The strategy before this one was for the period 2012 to 2024. And the review, which resulted into the new strategy, was necessitated by the worrying trends of poverty in our province. So the Executive Council is doing this to address poverty, and it's the new strategy is turbocharging the mechanisms to deal with poverty in our province. EXCO also approved a plan for the annual heritage celebration for the province that will feature performance by arts and culture groups from 6 districts and 2 metros of the province, who will showcase the richness and diversity of the living heritage of the Eastern Cape province. The Provincial Heritage Day event will be held at St. Matthew's College in Kiskamahook in the Amahlati municipality under the Amatole district on 25 September. The statement ends. Thank you.